The New York Knicks have looked elimination in the eye, and they are alive and kicking.
We played better. We played to our standards. Played Knicks basketball tonight.
I looked at the game and it said Game 5, do or die. Everyone's doing an amazing job of wanting to win.
Hey, tell JR, as Van Pelt said, leave you alone, all right?
6 and 7! 6 and 7!
A wise philosopher once said on this show, keep a cool booty. Knicks fans, you still need 2 more wins, but here is the back page of today's New York Post. Brun down, 2 to go. I like that. You know I like a pun. Let's take a look at today's electric moment brought to you by Hyundai here. Because Karl Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson, they really stepped up in Game 5. They now each have scored 20 or more points in all 5 games of this series. They're the second pair of teammates to each score 20 or more points in each of the first 5 games of a conference finals. They joined Shaquille O'Neal and Kobe Bryant for the Lakers in the 2002 Western Conference Finals against the Kings. The Lakers, they won that series in 7 games. Shaq and Kobe, they each had 20 or more points in all 7 of those games. So I don't know, maybe that's a omen here for New York. Tim Bontemps was in the building last night. New York, they flipped the script in Madison Square Garden. So what happens now, Tim, as this series shifts back to Indiana?
Well, yeah, Malika, as you said, the Knicks played great from start to finish in Game 5. They controlled the tempo. They dictated the way the game was going to be played. And now the series shifts back to Gainbridge Fieldhouse in Indianapolis for Game 6 tomorrow night. And I am fascinated to see how the Indiana Pacers, and specifically Tyrese Haliburton, handles this moment. You can really argue, Malika, that this is the first time in either last year's run to the conference finals or, frankly, throughout this year's run to the conference finals, that the Pacers have felt really any pressure at any point. Yes, they played the Knicks in a Game 7 last year, but by the end of the first quarter of that game, the Knicks had 4 starters out of the game. It was not exactly a competitive situation. On the other hand, tomorrow night, the Pacers are going to be at home with a chance to close out this series, to go to the NBA Finals for the first time in 25 years. It's the biggest moment in franchise history this century. It's the biggest moment of Tyrese Haliburton's career. And as we saw last night, Pacers did not look ready to handle the moment being at Madison Square Garden. Obviously, it's just one game. You can look at Knicks-Celtics Game 5 as an example of the home team being proud and not wanting to go home. We know what happened in Game 6 of that series. The question's going to be, can Indiana do the same thing to the Knicks, or can the Knicks dictate that tempo again and get themselves back here to New York for a Game 7 Monday night?
Yeah, the bringing the prerequisite energy for a closeout series, or closeout game, rather. That's not something we saw from Indiana here in this last game. Let's see if we see it when they are home for this all-important Game 6. Tim Bontemps, thank you so much.
I mean, I brushed against the wall, and so I wasn't thinking I need to play better than him. I was just thinking I need to help my team win, and that's my mindset every time I'm on the court, just helping my team win.
This team's special. This team is special, and you know, with this series, we haven't been able to close out games the way we wanted to. We haven't been able to show how special we are. We've had, moments of brilliance, but we haven't had games of brilliance. And I think tonight was a good testament to, when we're locked in playing for 48 minutes, we could show the world how special we really are.
Well, they did just that. Brunson became the 3rd different player with 30 points and 5 assists in at least 10 games of a postseason before the NBA Finals. He joins Michael Jordan, who did this in '89 and '90, and then the potential Finals counterpart in SGA this season. And Brian, you've said over and over this series that this is closer than 3-1. This is much, much closer than that. What did last night show you?
It showed me that there is a pathway for the Knicks to beat the Pacers. They have it, and they did it in a couple of different ways, Malika. Number one, in the previous 4 games of this series, the Pacers had committed 5 fewer turnovers per game. That's 5 extra possessions the Pacers would have against the Knicks. Well, in this game, the Knicks took care of the ball a lot better, and they put pressure on the Pacers. And in this game, it was the Knicks who had 5 fewer turnovers. That's a 10-turnover swing right there. Figure out how to make up for your issues. How about 10 possessions in your favor? Secondly, Jalen Brunson was so much better defensively in this game. Look, he is never going to be a defensive stopper, but he was absolutely not fighting in Game 4. He was extremely active defensively, going over screens. This is the number that says it all. 68% the Pacers shot against him as a primary defender in games 1 through 4. Look at that. They went at him 40 times in those games. Yesterday, they went at him 14 times. Still a big part of their offense. Only 3 of 14, 21%. That's huge. You take those two things away. And then in the first 4 games, Towns and Brunson, your 2 all-NBA players, they were minus 24 on the court together. That can't happen in this game, plus 23. They made up for it by being great together at the offensive end.
Just yesterday, Perk was jumping off the porch. He said, "No, what? No, I'm good on the New York Knicks." Kendrick, are you still there after watching this performance?
I mean, they've been stressing me out. I had every right to jump off the porch. I was stressed out behind the New York Knicks and my pick of them winning the series. And Wendy's right, like Big Body Brunson did his thing. But when it comes down to it, I'm looking at the matchup between Karl-Anthony Towns and Miles Turner, right? Like, that's been the biggest key in my point in this series. And when you look at Karl-Anthony Towns, every time he dominates Miles Turner, the Knicks get a win in good fashion. And when you look at last night, 24 and 13, his mind was there, aggressive, not shooting three-point shots, going down to that low block and playing daddy ball, playing in the dunker spot, setting screens, attacking off the dribble. Miles Turner had 5 points. 5 points. He is the best shot blocker in the postseason, leading the postseason in block shots, and KAT completely destroyed him.
We've talked about where's the Knicks defense at? How did they do it?
You guys, it's been a minute since I've been able to do this. Get up and go to the big board. So I'm gonna celebrate it. I'm gonna dance. I'm gonna boogie on down here because for one night, the Knicks, they turned back the clock to a style that we were once very familiar with under Coach Tibbs, defense. So let's dive into that aspect of the scouting report. Here were the 2 major adjustments that the Orange and Blue made. They won the point of attack. They have been attacking Karl-Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson. Watch Brunson. He's not afraid of the screen. This time he meets the point of attack and wins it. He's aggressive, 2 feet outside, forces a drive, and right here, it's a really great contest, which KAT got the defensive rebound. He had 11 on the night, 11 defensive rebounds, 13 overall. Now, this play got me hyped because this is what you need if you're going to try to continue to extend the series. Everyone's loaded up. They actually right here were picking their poison, face guarding Haliburton. And what happens here? Before, they left their defenders on islands. Instead, OG comes over. There's vision here, knowing that the shot clock, I'm going to show you guys right here, turns to 2.5. So he comes off of Haliburton to go get this late contest. This was beautiful defense from their star players, but also they were moving on a string. Now, how stellar was this night defensively, though, for New York? They held the Pacers, as Malika said, to their worst offensive performance of the season, just 94 points on 40% shooting. Again, that is the worst. Now, I feel for Knicks fans, they know how to play with your emotions, this squad, but yesterday, somebody stood on business and saw this coming.
All right, who do you have in this one?
The Knicks.
Oh, and he said it with his chest. A little family feud here.
Yeah,
Pops, anything you wanna impart on your son about? I mean, you picked the Pacers and he's picking New York.
Feel sorry for his loss.
What about Big Body Bronson?
Don't do that to your dad on the spot, boy.
Maybe we need young Carter on the show. Maybe we need young Carter back. Perk had to say, you know what? He had to take this block off for the rest of the block.
Perk didn't want
because
to smoke.
his son.
He didn't want to smoke. Oh, never mind.
But what had happened was.
Hey, look, listen. Maybe Carter is a better analyst than his dad. You know what I mean?
That's how generations
we might need to rock with him a little bit more.
Generational excellence here.
No, I'm just saying.
All right, let's get to the other side of all
he
this.
got more loyalty, I'll tell you that much.
Let's take a listen to Tyrese Haliburton.
I understand they're going to come out and play hard, increase the pressure, do whatever they got to do to win. And they did a great job of that. And, now it's on us to respond.
They were more aggressive from the jump. They brought the fight to us, and I just didn't think we brought it enough to. I think we finished the quarter okay, but we just didn't bring the fight.
I don't think there's any need to panic by any means. We get another game to go back at home and attack these guys and get better. So I look forward to Game 6, and we're prepared. We'll be prepared.
All right, Brian. So Tyrese Haliburton, he really struggled in this one. What do you make of his performance?
Well, one of the things about Haliburton, as Pacers fans can tell you, is occasionally he kind of lays an egg offensively. He's had 13 games this year where he's actually scored in single digits like he did in this game, including a game in the last round against the Cavs. It's long forgotten now, but he had a 4-point game in the one game that they lost. And so he has these moments where his offense sort of goes out. They're 3 and 10 in those games. It's super important for him to score. He averages 18 points a game. He's not a scorer like Brunson who can can easily score in the 30s and 40s on a regular basis. Haliburton's major attribute is running this offense, especially getting them going in transition. And so when he scores, they're awesome. I mean, look at this number. I mean, so that's why you see the Knicks really keying on him and using a lot of energy to pick him up full court, take him out of his rhythm. It was extremely successful, particularly Mikal Bridges, who used up a lot of energy in this game, picking him up in the backcourt, making him work for everything.
Yeah, and just feeding off of that, I do think that was the big adjustment on the defensive end. We say when you're one of the best passers in the game, you have to disrupt that vision, you have to disrupt that flow.
Right.
And you saw them time and time again. They were up. They were not waiting to half court. It was on the free throw line when everyone was ready to guard Tyrese Haliburton, and it was everyone. Like, I would say that Brunson, he was physical. It almost is like when you are trying to be successful at this level, you have to forget what you look like. You have to forget the cool. You just have to go with hustle and heart. They were not perfect, but they were persistent on each and every defensive possession.
Yeah.
And it was literally once the rebound was shifted, they actually had the mindset to lock in, and they'll have to do that again and again.
Yeah, but basically, this is the first time, Brian, that the Pacers, they have pressure on them now. This series now shifts back to Indianapolis. They want to close this out in 6. They do not want to go back to the Garden here for Game 7. How do you foresee them handling that?
Yeah, I'll go back to what Rick Carlisle said after they got up on the Cavs. He said, we're not going to be favored in any games. And he's been right for the most part. They've been the underdogs in the last 2 series. They've been underdogs in most of the games in this series. But not tomorrow night, Malika. They're favored tomorrow night. And this is a team that's won 4 series over the last 2 years. You certainly know that they can close out a series, but they have not experienced the pressure of win and you're in the finals, lose and you've screwed up. They've played generally pressure-free basketball for the last couple of years. So I want to see how they handle it.
They can't afford to, as Perk appears to right now have fallen asleep. Still to come on NBA Today.